Okay, so today we're going to do something, it's review. We've done this before, but I have a lot of students that still have difficulty with the coordinate plane and with ordered pairs. This is kind of the last hurrah, and you need to make sure that you know how to do this, okay? Because this creeps up in geometry and can cause people a lot of problems later on. So we're looking at graphs of functions today, and we're looking at the coordinate plane, right? So let's take a look at this coordinate plane. On your notes that you have, you won't be able to move the magnifying glass. So what you'll need to do is just label the parts as you go. Okay, section 4.1. Right. So if I take a look at this fuzzy dot in the middle of my coordinate plane, what do we call that? Yes, we call that the origin. So I would take and write this in the middle of that. You can't move the magnifying glass on your notes on your iPad. This is a PDF file. Okay. So just go ahead and type it. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. This line, this horizontal line that's in the middle of my graph, we call that what? That is the x-axis. Now, when you graph for me, and you will graph a lot this year, you need to put arrows on the ends of those lines. You need to make sure that if you don't use graph paper that you actually have hash marks, right? And then you need to make sure that you label it like the X on the x-axis, okay? Now, the line that's vertical, that goes the opposite way, that is what? Yes?
The y-axis.
It is called the y-axis, that's correct. And you don't have to write y-axis, just put a big Y on there, okay? So again, need an arrow, need a label, need the hash marks if you're not in graph paper. Question? All right, now, to the right-hand side, okay, there's this area. Do you know what that area is called? Yes. It's called a quadrant, that's correct. And it's quadrant 1, yes. Now you're going to notice that when I write quadrant 1, that it's not like a 1 that we're used to, it's a Roman numeral. Right? So you will have this on your test where you need to actually label these parts. So make sure that you get the Roman numerals. Now, there is a quadrant 2. Where would I go to find quadrant 2? Yes. 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 The top left-hand side is quadrant 2. And you're going to notice that I have 2 big eyes. Questions? Right? Now I need to find quadrant 3. So where would that be?
Left-hand bottom.
Very good. Left hand, bottom side. It's there. It's hiding. There we go. And notice that there are 3 eyes next to each other. Right? And then finally, the 4th quadrant, and I do the 4 with an I and a V. All right? And you need to use Roman numerals. Questions on this? Right, this will be on the test. This is like some terminology you need to know, right? All right, let's go to the next slide. We're going to give the coordinate of each point. So I'm going to look at A. And what would be the ordered pair for A? Yes. It's 2, 2, right? And you're going to see it in your book like this, so you got to get the terminology. You need parentheses. If I don't have parentheses, that's like English without your capital letter and your period, right? It's wrong. So make sure you get the parentheses, and then make sure that you have a comma between them. Without a comma, it's wrong, right? Let's take a look at B. What would be the ordered pair of B? Yes.
Negative 6, 2.
It's negative 6, comma, 2. That's correct. So I go to the left 6, and I go up 2. And then C. What would be the order of here for C? Yes. Good. Negative 3, comma, negative 3. And then finally D. Yes. 7, negative 6. So I went over. Oh, is that right? Nope.
No.
Not quite. Look at it again. You have to count it wrong. So I go over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma, and I go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, negative 6. Does that make sense?
The lines were throwing me off, the red and blue lines.
Yeah, that's what
Are you okay? Well, if it's red and blue lines, the red ones are evens. So if it's on a red line, you know it needs to be even. Okay? All right, good. Let's keep going. We're going to plot the point in the coordinate plane, and we're going to describe the location. And so you'll notice at the bottom here, it says 0, 3. So this is how you're going to do this on your homework. You're going to find 0, 3. So 0, 3. The dot is right there. And we're going to say A. Let's describe the location. Where is that dot? Is it quadrant 1?
It's on the y-axis.
It's on the, thank you, yes, it's on the y-axis. It's like on the fence post of 1 and 2, right? The quadrant 1 and 2. So it's on the y-axis. Good. All right. Notice that I put the dot and I put an A next to it. That's how you label those. Right? Let's go down. B is 1, negative 2. So what quadrant would that be in? Yes. It is in quadrant 4. So I'm going to go right 1, down 2. This is B. And I'm going to put quadrant 4 with a Roman numeral. Don't put a 4 like we're used to. You got to use a Roman numeral. We okay? Yes? No? Maybe? Yes? Okay. Let's go down to C. A lot of you seem to know this. This is good. Negative 3, negative 4. So I'm going to go right 3, down 4. Right here. I'm going to call that C. And where's that located? Quadrant 3. Good. Quadrant 3. And notice that I use my Roman numerals. Questions? All right. Fabulous. All right. Now we're going to get into bringing two things together. Do you remember doing H tables? We've done that before, okay? And now you know how to graph, correct? So now I'm going to bring these two things together. This is what happens in algebra, and this is why it's so important to keep up on your homework. Because if you didn't know about H tables and you didn't know about graphing, how is that going to make you feel? Not good. Yeah, and that's where kids start hating math. Is because I don't remember how to do H tables. Oh man, I forgot how to graph. Oh, I don't want to do this. This is awful. I hate math, okay? So when you know how to do it, that gives you power and you feel a little bit better about math. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put our X here. We're going to put our equation in the middle, and I'm going to put our Y there. And that should look familiar because we've done that before. What numbers do I plug in?
The domain.
I plug in the domain. They gave that to me, right? Later on, I won't be doing that for you, but today, this is what they gave me. So does the order matter? It does. Yep. So I'm going to plug in negative 2. Now, there's a step in here you need to show. And I'm going to draw my line. Okay? Make sure you show that second step. We okay? Right? Then I plug in -3, that's right. What's 2 times -3? -6. What's my answer? Very nice. Okay, and then I plug in 0. And then all of those steps are really, really important. Please do not skip the steps. Put them in there. Because I will have kids that graph a dot wrong, and I'll go, well, why did they graph the dot wrong? Like, what happened? Oh, their y's are wrong. Well, how did they get that wrong? Did they add wrong? Did they multiply wrong? Well, I don't know because they didn't show their work. Okay? So make sure that you show your work. All right, so am I done? Why? Okay, I need to write the range. So range, have we done this before? Yeah, we did. We did this in a homework assignment. So this should be like, oh, I remember how to do this. And super easy, okay? What do I write down? -8,
-10,
comma -10, comma -4, comma
-2.
-2. Not hard, is it? No, super easy. We've done it before. We've practiced it. I taught it. We're good to go. That's a good feeling. Am I done? No. What's wrong? Yeah. Okay, I have to graph it, don't I? All right, now, this is the joy of the H table. Do you see the first dot says -2, -8? So I'm going to take that ordered pair and I'm going to go to my graph. Phew! Tongue tied. I'm going to go -2, -8. -2, 2, 4, 6, 8. Right there. There's my dot. Okay. Notice that my axis, I've got arrows, don't I? What am I missing on my axis? Label X, Y. And you go, Mrs. Medvick, why do I have to do that? Like, seriously, that's so stupid. Why do I have to label that stuff? Well, because if you take any kind of engineering class, all right, you've got the x-axis, you've got the y-axis, and you have a z-axis. And those axes can rotate, right? You can look at your paper like it is here, or I can turn my paper. So I got to know which way you're looking at your paper. So labeling it really helps me, right? Now, let's go back to our ordered pairs. I did the first one. What's the second ordered pair? Yes.
-3, -10.
Good. -3, -10. So -3, -10. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. Next ordered pair is 0, -4. So I got 0, -4 right there. And what's the last one? 1, -2. Okay, now I'm going to stop right there. Do I connect those dots? What do you think? Should I put a line through them with arrows?
Yes.
You say yes. How many people say yes? How many people say no? Okay, you're all wrong. You don't. You don't put a line through them with arrows. And the reason why is this. A lot of kids see that and they're like, they get fidgety. They're like, oh my gosh, I gotta connect those dots.
Well, science is taught us that.
Science has taught you that. Yeah. Well, it kind of depends on the information they gave you. Now, do you see how they gave you the domain? And they gave you -2, 3, 0, and 1. So what they're doing is they're saying, I need you to look just at that place. I don't care about anything else around it. I didn't choose those numbers. They gave them to me. So when they give you the domain like this, you don't connect the dots. In science, do they give you the numbers to plug in? No, you get to pick your own data, correct? That's why you connect the dots. When you choose the numbers, you can choose any number you want. That's why you can make a line, because a line just means that it keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and there's all kinds of numbers there. Do I look at several numbers on this problem? No, I only look at -2, -3, 0, and 1. I only want that snapshot right there. It's like looking at a photo album, okay? If someone gives you a huge photo album and they just want you to look at your baby picture, your 2nd grade picture, your 7th grade picture, and your 9th grade picture, do you want to sit there and spend the time and look at all those pictures? No, I don't want to do that. I got stuff to do. I'm only going to look at those pictures. That's what it's asking you to do. I don't want to look at the whole photo album. I got things to do. I only want to look at those pictures. That's why you don't connect the dots. They're not asking you to. And there's a difference. You got to make sure you get that. So you're going to leave your graph just as this. Now, take a look at those dots though. Do they form a line? They do, and they should. So if you get something like this, and then you get a dot way out here,
You're wrong.
you did something wrong when they give you an equation, okay? So that's kind of a tip. Oh boy, I did something wrong. So I was supposed to get a line, and I didn't get a line. I gotta call Mrs. Medved because I'm not getting this. We okay? All right, that's it for today then. We're gonna go ahead and start looking at our homework assignment.